Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Faces Artist, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Now, the last time I was playing this, it was actually in March, and it was actually rather late. It was this. No, this was on March 30th. This was on March 31st. March Foot and Mouth. Yes, yes, yes. So, this was the last one that I wanted. There we go. Last time we were on this rooftop here. There is nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. Few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. Small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. Peek through the chain link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards a convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of a big metropolis seems so far away and foreign here, and nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depends on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky, a cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Amy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Nisa, what are you waiting for? She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Amy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go, lunch as promised, homemade no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks, I'm making myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a fork full of food into her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I'm in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts but decide to emit condolences as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Amy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. It is great because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps to keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk. Let's settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Amy answer the question. Someone in the house is in front of you to compliment each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Compliment each other? Like shoes and a suit? Huh? Amy giggles at my confusion, put us together and we got all our limbs. Get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chose this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of? This is helping, but this time it seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is generally curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you got no arms. So putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm going to just stop talking now. Could save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. And we finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ah, that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that, sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one tray that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I am once again impressed by how flexible she is. This time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Amy or Rim are the sorts of people who think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Hisa, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here and for the lunch too. Amy grins a 1,000-watt grin pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Amy looks mock offended, trying to take advantage of my good nature. The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess I would just keep eating lunch all alone. I'm suddenly insulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Amy pouts. Kidding, I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location and the company is okay too. Amy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away. Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. Three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school. So I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident for the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I had borrowed into the return slots in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the bang they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry Yuko, didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine, it happens a lot, I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? Yes, I think it's okay, I think I know where everything is, thanks anyways. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here, there's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decided on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimal fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room to read the books I borrowed. There's been enough action inside here for one day already. The first is Alice Adventure in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I've never actually read the original book. It's just a trip is remembered the story to be, with the wacky characters and nonsense plot. I start thinking of myself as some kind of Alice too, happily tumbling down the rabbit hole into the cripple Wonderland. Oh man. Okay, that's rather a strong expression. Still, the isolated location and the overcreated school of comedy, so the absolutely everything is unsettling. It's like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page with my mind starts drifting further away from the book. It's quiet, I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. some reason it makes me feel really bad, like it has sense that I'm in the forest with Ivanako, like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stared at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fall asleep. My boy dedicated. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer for classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Moto launches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy the late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrolls some pages and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial, not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partially be attributed to the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing concert work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as loud as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak for you? I'm still thinking about Misha, don't even notice me approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if you speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Moto stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say, not knowing what's going on, away silently. I heard from the school's head nurse that she had an incident the other day. Ah, so it's about that. Well, kinda, but it's not anything to be worried about. Yes, it is. Anything that can endanger your health is something to be worried about, which I best here to prepare you for life here. But that's only knowing your limits and how to work around them. It would be remiss of me if I didn't speak up about this. Alright, I get it. I'm sorry. Muto closes his eyes in frustration and realizes that this probably wasn't the best thing to say. Something tells me that you're not sorry. Pretend as much as you want, but this isn't a normal school. A lot of people have put in a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that you and every other student here can have the same level of education as your peers. For you to abuse that by throwing out advice, especially medical advice, is plain selfish. I'm not quite sure if this is actually how he feels, or if it's something that he has practiced many times to guilt trip students into doing the right thing. Either way, it's working. I understand this is all new to me and I apologize. I know my limits now and I'll be sticking to them. Mutt appears to lighten up a little, satisfied that his message has been received. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid off for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. With the tap his chin raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you gotta keep up with those things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right, wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. So as Muto's serious talk is over, and he's going back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My reading for that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Muto pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider applying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working at the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped to the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it appears that Muto does not even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. Guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Muto and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or a chance to get their last minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the balls cry out, ending the tournament. But you all leave expecting answers for those problems by Monday. The class size is one, instead of getting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issue at hand. Classroom empties in obliquely as everyone rushes to the last minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions, so don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend with the festivals and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. She that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of our business and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite that relative proximity of our seats, I had the choice to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. Pencil splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated silence subsequently fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? The name usually takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. Talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. A couple of minutes she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently became too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, she must be quite a fast reader to get through that at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessly shuffling her seat and trying to read, Hanako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished and there is nothing else to do in the classroom. I don't have anything to do anywhere else either. School is a big hub of activity, but nobody pays me any heed. I saunter past classrooms filled with students frantically doing this and that, buzzing around like little worker bees, feeling as the school day is over. It's a bit quieter outside, but not by much. People zip by left and right, hurrying as quickly as they can, busy and energetic. I feel the opposite. The midday sun seems to be draining all the spirit out of my body, making it feel limp all over. Warm, soft air flows inside my shirt, feeling like a cushion. I am lazily thinking about what I'll do. I'll drop off my books at the dorms first and then something I haven't decided yet. Maybe Kenji is in his room. Way to the doors, I spot Tammy coming my way, running despite not having those weird running prosthetics on. I wave at her and she skids to a stop. Yellow Hisawa's patches of white and green paint adorn her nose and chin, respectively, but her smile is wide as it seems it always is. She leans closer to me, amplifying the feeling she is examining me. What you doing? Nothing really, I don't have anything to do for the festival and everyone else seems to be doing something important. That's perfect, then you can help me and Rin. With the festival preparations, I'm not sure if I will be of much help. That's fine, I'm not much help either. Imi grabs my wrist and starts dragging me back inside the school quite forcefully. Your walking speed is more like jogging, making me stumble over myself simply trying to keep up. They're slowing me down a little bit, maybe it's hard to climb with her legs. Maybe she's finally run out of breath. On a little side note, if you have prosthetic legs, can you like change them out? You know, like I would imagine that you could, you know, like just change them out every so often, you know, change colors and whatnot. I mean, if you had the money to buy multiple prosthetic legs, and you were crazy enough to do so, I mean, you could, right? You have one running legs, resting legs, or would just taking off your legs be the same as taking off your shoes? So many questions. So are you Izrin working on that mural still? That's right, she needs all kinds of paints and brushes and stuff, so I went to get them from the art classroom. And you need me to help with that. Well, Rin told me you had already helped her, so I thought you wouldn't mind. I see. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic, here I am again collecting stuff from the art classroom for other people. The room is empty apart from ourselves and the lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Amy skips straight away to the back wall, digging out a tiny crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. While she tries to make sense of the scrawled handwriting, take a closer look at the materials lying around here. Dozens of paint cans and bottles are arranged at the shelves in the most unorganized fashion. Some look like they have been left there for several decades, relics of previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing paper are the boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. The smell of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing in my nostrils to form that unmistakable scent of art. Amy studies his notes, comparing them to the markings in the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She scratches her neck to look on the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Her eye level stays below the shelf no matter what she does. Amy gives up and just looks up to the shelf longingly like a child at a toy store, huffing in annoyance. The moment of building anger, she starts jumping up and down, apparently trying to speed read the labels, and in a fraction of a second she can see them and catch what she can. It's no surprise that she fails miserably and almost manages to bring the entire shelf crashing down. Now see why me lending a hand here would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough and I don't want you to hurt yourself trying. Also, I'm like twice your height. You are not. She turns around, flaring scorn-flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding, short stuff, short king. Anyway, I'll look up there, okay? She glares at me one more time but can't come up with a retort. With a grudging turns her back to me. So I've been scrounging around the top shelf for a paint fell below. Amy crunches to scavenge what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little after double checking to ensure she can see me do so. Amy having a complex about her height was a surprise. I would have joked about it otherwise. She seems easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out on a desk like a treasure hunter spot, I realized that it wasn't necessarily the height job that got her rounded up. She might not like to be told that she can do something like jump, but Amy herself seems to have forgotten all about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive, is she that type of person? At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything to heart. As she chatters away happily while we pick up the rest of the items and then make our way back to Rin. After she carries the bulk of the materials as we make our way towards the dormitories. Rin is really stressed about getting her painting done. It's her own fault though, she should have started earlier. She's going to make it. No idea, it looks good to me, but with rain you never know what's going on. Found this morning lying in front of the dorm in a fetal position. She had a slight all night. I can't believe that night nurses had found her. Now she's painting again like crazy. Yeah, I noticed that she comes off as kind of unhinged, so to speak. Amy giggles at as well as at my likely to obvious awkwardness. And I mind that she's just a little weird sometimes. On that I can agree with him. Like me, Amy seems to be cool with Rin's whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, they don't feel close like Misha and Shizune do, them working as a single entity. Sometimes it's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. You know, they're so different just like Amy and Rin are. And Rin is the most different of them all, different from everyone else I've met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I tend to that word again as if something encompasses Rin's personality by itself, but really just decided for a lengthy description of her oddities. Amy giggles as a grasp about for a properly descriptive word. She's just weird. You know, she just spent half an hour sitting in her box and stared at her toes. She giggles again in a way that makes it she doesn't know what's funny about it, it just is. All that time. The working area is a mess, but the mural itself has taken over even more of the wall since I last saw it. Human figures have been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange, weird imaginary things populating the spaces between. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that would describe the work concisely and comprehensively, so I settled myself for a nondescript nice. But honestly, it seems that the area around the wall becomes untidy at the same rate as the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Rin herself is in the center of this chaos. Oh, dude. Standing there looking very cozy as she was a natural part of the scene. Her pant legs had been rolled up to her knees, exposing her thin legs which sported a giant spectrum of war paintings, similar to those on Amy's face. Amy spins her in ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her. I'm back. That was fast. Did you run in the corridors again? Sour helped me. Amy points victoriously at me. Rin turns around, following Amy's finger with her eyes, looking in my general direction. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hadn't slept since last night. A vacant glazed stare at the focus slightly off me, and movements like in slow-motion movie. Hello, Hisao, thank you for the help. Don't mention it. I just did. Never mind. Looks like you made progress. Looking good as far as I can tell. But now you get more bad luck. I know, but I'm willing to take the risk. That's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course, not for you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look at their unfinished paintings. Artists can't find romance, their favorite TV shows are cancelled, or they die young because of an unspecified disease. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they are blind. She considers this for a while, looking like she's going to fall asleep. There is a boy. At the art club you see a blind boy, so he doesn't see. You should become an artist, no bad luck guaranteed. Don't you think that would be a good idea? But only blind people should become artists. No, not as much. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune that I think I recognize but can't remember the name of. Amy arranges the supplies you brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organization to the scene. Amy, I need the Prussian blue paint. Which one's Prussian blue? She's staring helplessly at 7 or 8 cans, each with a different tone of blue. It's the one with the Prussian blue paint in it. What an asshole. Please, Rin, you're not helping at all. I'm looking around the zillion, though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like either. I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia. What Prussia even is, the name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. Well, none of the blue looks more Prussian than the other. The small print of the label is legible enough to tell me that none says anything about the contents being Prussian. There is no Prussian blue here. I need to go get more then. I'll help him out to say that actually we're not both needed for such a simple task of finding another port, but Emmy's already got my arm, so they're dragging me off. Rinko doesn't seem to have noticed that the two of us are leaving. Well, she noticed when she goes for her Prussian blue and finds out it's still not there. Maybe. Probably not, actually. While I'm busy thinking of how weird Rin is, Emmy's been dragging me back to the art classroom. I feel myself starting to run out of breath. What's the rush, huh? Emmy's giving me a praising look as she's trying to figure something out. Just that you seem to be in a hurry. I'm not sure I can give up. Comprehension dawns on her face. You're not out of breath, are you? There's almost an accusing playfulness in her tone. I'm tempted tonight, but then I realize I have been breathing heavy since we stopped. I guess it's kind of obvious. A little, not everybody can be in shape, you know. It takes all kinds, right? Amy frowns is not particularly. That is. I should get in shape. Not that I hadn't already decided to try for that. With a father on check, I figured there's a real need to get in some sort of running habit. I was, after all, feeling pretty good until I had my false alarm. I actually wasn't, but it was fun. Meanwhile, my comments seem to have helped Amy come to some sort of a decision. Well, that's it then. She gives me a serious look. You're joining me. I beg your pardon? In the mornings, you and I are now running partners. I got a routine all planned out, in fact. She builds a crumpled sheet of paper. Got it right here with me. I take the sheet of paper and give it a once over. Times, dates, and laps all laid out. That's slowing is from just a few laps a day to, my god, does she expect me to have me running marathons? Where did she find the time to get all this together? How long has she been planning this anyway? You've been planning this? A little. But it's really the nurse's idea. Tell me to keep an eye on you to make sure you exercise like he told you to. A vast conspiracy, maybe Kenshi's onto something here. This seems a bit much for just keeping an eye on me. Well, to be honest, I've been trying to find a running partner in the mornings for a while now. My god, Kenji, if you could only see the scheme unfolding. Okay. Okay, dude.